In this video, I'm going to explore the question of how will further scientific verification of UAP reality influence potential pressure being put on the US government for answers on what kind of data they've collected over many decades that they have not been transparent about. Because one of the themes that I hear from multiple people is that the US government will never come clean on everything they know prior to 2004. Now, recall that the UFO report that was recently provided to us only goes back to 2004, and the vast majority of it, of the data and the encounters that they discuss in that report goes back to 2019. And so my contemplation is that as the scientific community gets more data on this issue, that may take some pressure off the US government, because all of the journalists won't be looking exclusively at the US government for answers about this phenomenon, but it will also bring into the light the question of, well, if this phenomenon truly exists, then isn't it potentially obvious that the US government has known about this in a very scientific, explicit way, much further into the past, before 2004 in the USS Nimitz UFO event series? Now, yesterday I had the great privilege and honor to interview Gary Voorhees, who was in charge of $1 billion weapon system during the USS Nimitz UFO event series. So an extremely accomplished person, extremely bright and successful. And he gave me further insight into a scientific outfit, one of many right now, called UAP Expeditions. And recently they've gone out to various hotspots in the Midwest and Southwest that are known for a lot of UAP activity. And one of the quotes from the press release that was recently given by their organization is, UAPX acknowledges there may exist a sufficiently advanced human technology that is as of yet unaccounted for in the analysis. However, initial results suggest that data captured by UAPX eliminate human technology as a possibility for many instances of interest under further review. So according to UAPX, they've collected high fidelity data that gives scientific epistemological credence to this phenomenon. And to me, one of the most interesting things of that press release is it underscored it's from disparate sensor collecting mechanisms. So it's not just like someone brought out a FLIR video and captured a UAP from a FLIR video. There were multiple different devices using and being used and correlating their findings. That is amazing. And I will tell you this, I'm going to give them a lot of benefit of the doubt. There are 2 PhDs on that team, and what they've stated in the press release are pretty big claims. Now, I'm not saying that this is definitely going to result in scientific proof of UAP, but it might. One of the most interesting things that Gary Voorhees told me during the interview was that all of the software development was done off of merely 1 hour of FLIR video. And to me, this truly underscores the infancy that we are currently in as a civilization in terms of scientific investigation into UAP. Yes, the US government may have secret UFO programs, but we don't have access to that. And other governments may as well, but again, we don't have access to that. And Voorhees said that money has been a problem. In fact, all of their expeditions that they've done in 2021 were funded by a documentary. Those behind the documentary that I guess accompanied them during their expeditions. They may have other sources of funding, I don't know, but definitely the documentary was a huge component of it at the very least. And they were required to sign non-disclosure agreements about the data they've found until the documentary actually publishes. And so I recollect he said that they will release the data no later than April. And also, they made it clear in the press release that they're going to submit it to relevant peer-reviewed journals for analysis. And so we are truly at the beginning stages of what I consider will be a renaissance of scientific investigation into UAP. And the last I heard from Professor Avi Loeb, who is in charge of the Galileo project, is that there are 100 people helping him, some financially, some in other capacities. And they're going to buy a telescope off the shelf and put it on the roof of the Center for Astrophysics building at Harvard University and work on the software that they're going to apply to their telescopes to filter out stuff they're not interested in and whatever other applications that software may be responsible for. And by the spring of 2022, hopefully they'll have finalized their software, and then they will make duplications of their equipment and put it in various places to capture data on UAP. And so it appears very clear to me that UAP expedition is much further along than Project Galileo is. And the moment that either of these outfits collect intriguing data that's put into a scientific peer-reviewed journal, and it's assessed that what they found is truly anomalous and gives epistemological credence to unknown technology surpassing known technology, just imagine the amount of funds that will flow into Project Galileo, UAP expedition, and I can only anticipate a myriad of other organizations that are going to surface to try to find and discover data on this enigma. And it's going to become more and more clear, the more and more explicit data that is acquired, that someone has to be behind this technology. And if it's not Elon Musk, and it's not Jeff Bezos, and it's not Russia, and it's not China, then it's got to be something else, whatever else that may end up being. And simultaneously, with the Gillibrand-Rubio amendment and pressure from the United States Congress and the semi-annual classified reports that many of the intelligence committees will receive, and the once-a-year report that will be unclassified, all of this is going to snowball in my estimation. It's all going to lead to an undeniable acceptance of unknown technology in our biosphere, flying in our skies and traversing our oceans. And it's going to snowball. And because of that, this topic is going to saturate our earth. It's going to saturate our universities. It's going to saturate our conversations. If there is indeed a real mystery here, and it's not all merely a manifestation of people having misidentifications. Now, that's why we need the scientific effort, so that it's no longer a hypothesis, but is proven to exist. Now, during this great cacophony of grandeur, do I think that the U.S. government is going to be asked some very difficult questions about what they know and have learned over many decades about this phenomenon? And I think the answer is yes. And the one thing I know they're not going to do is deny the phenomenon, like they've done multiple times in the past, because at this juncture, they simply cannot get away with it, and to do so would expose them to litigative vulnerabilities, which of course they don't want to have to ever end up dealing with, because there are repercussions to flat out lying about this issue that they may have not feared in the past, but they certainly are fearing now. And so as we as a civilization become clear on the reality of this phenomenon, I do think that everyone's going to be asking, well, what has your research looked like over the decades that you did not make public? And indeed, within the Gillibrand-Rubio Amendment, there's some very interesting language, and I'm going to share some with you right now. And so the Congress wants to receive in upcoming reports information on any efforts underway on the ability to capture or exploit discovered unidentified aerial phenomena, an assessment of any health-related effects for individuals that have encountered unidentified aerial phenomena, and descriptions of UAP incidents associated with nuclear weapon and nuclear-powered craft or domestic nuclear facilities. It's all coming apart at the seams, isn't it? There's a crack in the dam. We all know what happens when there's a crack in the dam, don't we? So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where this is all headed. Hey, maybe the skeptics are right? Maybe this is just a mind virus. I seriously doubt that, but you never know. Maybe Avi Loeb and Project Galileo and UAPX and other organizations currently making the effort to investigate this phenomena scientifically will come up flat. They won't get any good data. It's possible. On the other hand, my inclination may be correct. And all of this is unfolding at a rapid pace. And the information that is coming out is replacing all of the assumptions that were made about this phenomena, that it amounted to nothing but people's imaginations. If you've enjoyed this video, please do not forget to subscribe. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can check out my merch shop where I sell t-shirts. You become a patron, you could become a YouTube member, or you could just give me a one-time donation, or you could just slap a like on this bad boy and I'll appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Special thanks to all YouTube members, patrons, those that bought merch, those that have given me a one-time donation. I couldn't do without you. Thank you so much.